So you can see, I mean, this is, don't get me wrong, it's a lovely lavender edging. I mean, can't go to the bush, can't go to the hedge. It's a lovely selection, but that bit in the middle has totally gone. It's just died out and it's been overtaken by nettles. So I thought I'd take a few clippings. Now, 2 ways to take a cutting of a lavender. Let me try and show you here. You see this bit I've got down here, where you've got a main stem coming up and then a spur. Wait a minute, there we go. So you can see there's the spur coming off. That's the main stem. But if I pull it back over, do you see that little bit of heel I've got on the bottom of it as well there? Well, that's where the growing point is for leaves or roots or branches. So that is what we want on the bottom of a length. Now it's easy to pull back, or if you've got a bit that's maybe got a couple on and a part of a hedge that's got to come out like this one here, I can just go further back down the branch and take it right off. Now when you have a look, you've got 1, 2, 3, that you'll be able to take 3 cuttings off that one bit. So let's go over to the table and see what we need to do next. Okay, so here we are. We've got the clippings. We've got them here, and I've also brought a little bowl of water, a pair of scissors, and some hormone rooting powder. Now, if you haven't got this, don't panic too much. It just does help some of these woody cuttings set their roots a little bit faster. Now, this is really, really easy. I've taken a pot and I've filled it loosely with some compost. Now, quite often you'll hear people saying you need to put sharp sand in or perlite in or various different things to stop it getting compacted and too wet. Well, this stuff is very light. Even after I've given it a good soaking, it's still actually very, very light. And what we're going to do is when we put these little pieces in, we're going to put them around the wall of the pot, not in the middle. Because in the middle is always wetter than on the sides. And what we want these things to do is to search for water and send roots out. That's why we do it this way. Now, the rooting powder, you don't need much on, right? It's a tiniest little bit that you need. But first of all, let's get a couple of these bits and I'll show you what I mean. Now, here's one before. Do you remember we tore it off the branch and it has this little heel on it? Well, with my 99p pair of scissors, I'm just going to tidy up that little raggy bit, pull off these leaves at the bottom, and we don't need all this plant up here. We just don't need it, so I'm going to take that off by about there. It's about 6 inches long in old money, and that way we'll put about 3 inches of it into the pot. 3 inches will stand out the top. Now I've cut away all the flowers and all the new leaves, because I don't want any energy going up there. I want it to go that way. This is the way we do it, look. Into the water, flick it off, lightly. Can you make that out okay? Very lightly. And then with a pen, pencil, other implements are available. Just stick it down the side wall, lift it out, and then put your plant in. And don't hammer it. You're only pushing the soil lightly up against it. Let me show you that again. See, here's a clump that we cut off. Now, do you remember we said you're looking for the heel bit? And on this one, actually it's not so easy to see on that one. Let me show you on another one. Here's a one, look. We took this clump off. This is your main stem here. And these are branches, side stems. So if we pull it, ooh, look at the size of that heel. Now that is a little bit too big. But we'll take our 99p and we'll just snip that down, you see? Now again, we don't need the flowers. It's trying to set flowers on the top here. So we'll take them off. We can also strip away these bits at the bottom because they're not going to do any good either. into the water. A bit of a dog's leg, this one, mind you. Into the water, into the rooting compound. Nice and deep. Push it down. And there we go. It's really quite easy. All you're doing is you're just tidying up the bottom so you don't have too much of that heel. This heel, you see, that's where the roots will come from. There's a lot of hormone rooting capability in that little bit there. It'll throw roots out, it would throw leaves out, or it would even grow into new branches. It's pretty good stuff. It's like T cells in the human body. So we'll just chop these tops off again. Take off the flowery bits. Into the water. A little bit of rooting. You should get 6 or 7 around the side of this pot quite easily. Now, you don't need to keep these in a greenhouse, right? I know, you're thinking, oh, I'll put it in a greenhouse and it'll grow better. You don't really need it to grow better, you need it to grow well. So let's just see where we are on this one. Here's a nice little one, look. There again, that's your main stem there. You see, that's what's happened with the plant. It's dried out and died. This is all the new growth that the plant's thrown out. So if I just tear that off, there's the heel. Again, we take off these extra bits that we don't need. Into the compound, very lightly. In it goes. Now, as I was saying, you don't need to keep these in a greenhouse, so don't worry if you haven't got one. What you want to do is to keep them out of direct wind. They don't like too much wind. Maybe put them up against the wall of a house or in a sheltered corner somewhere. They need a bit of light, but again, they don't need sunlight all day long. They'll just dry out if you do that. I normally just put mine down. You see out here, I've got plants all over. I normally just stick them down amongst them, and they do very well. Now, if the winter's going to be bad, put it under cover somewhere. Stick a cloche over the top of it, put it in a cold frame. If you cannot do that, stick it on the windowsill in the kitchen, because you don't want all these leaves to get totally damaged. They're still supporting the plant until it grows all of its new roots. Now, the idea that I'm going for is I want to get 50 new plants. Reason is because that hedge that you just saw before there, it's dying a bit. It's way, way, way beyond its expiry date. So I'm going to dig it all out at the end of the year, weed out all the nettle in that, and then in the spring I'm going to put 50 new plants right away along there and create a whole new lavender hedge. I love lavender. It's one of those plants that when you walk in a garden and you smell it, it brings back all sorts of memories from your nana's garden, or maybe even your nana's pillow was on the bed, because they used to keep lavender in the drawers. The reason they did that was it keeps the moths away. So if you've got moths in your house and you've got a nice expensive jumper, put some lavender in beside it. Moths won't go anywhere near it. It's a lovely plant. Now I think I've got enough here to do 1 or 2 more, and once we get to that point, that's it. And that, my friend, is it. So I hope you enjoyed that little tip. It's only a little one, just a little shorty. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoy sharing these tips with you. Now, if there's anything you're wanting to know about as well, or anything you want to share with us, put it down below, put it in the comments, and we're very happy to bring it up in the next video, and we'll see what we can do about it. So I thought now, if I can get this camera off, we'll take this and I'll show you where I'm going to put it. You get to see a little bit of the garden here. Do you remember the other week when we put all these tatties in that in? Look at this lot. I've harvested all that pak choi, taken it all out, and you can see the spinach that was behind it. Remember we put some seeds in? Well, that's coming through now as well. It's about succession planting. It doesn't always have to be plants, it can be seeds. Look at these babies, they're doing quite well as well, aren't they? That's the beans. The spinach in the tube. Look at the wee garden over here. That's just good to see, it's just grown so quickly. The greenhouse, yes, there's plants in there and they're getting watered automatically. Now, if I could avoid tripping over, we'll nip through the back, hide a bit of the mess, and then down to the secret garden. Here we go. You can see here where the hedge has just died really. It's just dried out completely. The nettles have moved into it, and the edges are also looking a wee bit worn and worse for wear. So we'll take that out and we'll replace that with its own clippings next year, and that will be a beautiful new fresh hedge. For now, I'm just going to pop these down here, and they'll sit down there. They get the morning sun coming in, and then by about 2 o'clock the sun's gone and they'll be out of the heat and relaxing for the rest of the day. That is a work in progress. I'm not going to tell you what it is. This is a problem. I don't know if you've got these on yours, but this year up here where I am, can you see this lot? All that brown, fuzzy, furry looking stuff? Aphids. Absolutely terrible. And I don't have enough ladybirds to stay on top of them. So what you can do is, you can be cruel. Look away now if you don't like blood, by squeezing them. Or, you can see them flying off now, or you can hit them with a hose pipe. And hopefully what happens is, once they come off, they won't go back on. But this little lot here is, I've got to do something with it because it's over the apple tree. The idea was I would just harvest this for the seeds, but I think we've got another few weeks before these seeds are going to be ready. Can you see them? Good size. And there's the apple trees, you see, all working well. And the gooseberries next to them, all coming through. Yeah, garden's doing really well this year. I'm very happy, and I do very little work on it myself, you know. I leave it all up to nature. Oh, look at those, aren't they beautiful? And look at that little baby. Oh. And look, there's lots more of them going to be coming out shortly. You see them? They're in there. They're not. They're dead. They're snapped. I think the pigeons had a bit of an attack on that. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'll catch you later.